Welcome to Max's Junk. Welcome to the third episode of Max's Junk. Max here, Max there, Max everywhere. And I'm your host today. And this is my co-host,
Debbie Skinner. Debbie here, Debbie there, Debbie everywhere. Hello, everyone.
We have a special guest today. This is a friend of both of ours. And it's Matt Shoemaker. Matt, it's great to have you today with us, and we're here to talk about something that is very unique. It's an artifact, and it dates pre-American or English history. This is actually a piece of French history on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and it is especially of interest of the people of D'Iberville, because the settlers of D'Iberville, they came here to the coast in the 1600s, from 1600 to 1760 something, I think, was French settlement in the South Mississippi. And Matt, tell us just a little bit about what you found. Start from the beginning and tell us a little bit about this axe head.
All right. Well, I was probably 5 years old at the time. It was dug up in 1966. I was always into everything. I liked fossils and different things. So I was piddling around in the yard, and there was a giant oak tree that just happened to have a rotten spot down at the bottom. I don't know why it rotted there. Maybe this did it. I don't know. But I dug it out, and this axe was in there. And so my father goes back into pulpwooding. My grandfather's pulpwooders all the way back. So when he saw the thing, he says, I need to take it away from you. Of course, I was 5 years old, so I was like, shouldn't be playing with it anyway. But he knew by the way it was made that it was pretty old. So he took it away from me anyway. And in that process, years later, he gave it back to me. And we had a friend that has now passed on that was an archaeologist, and he brought it to him and let him look at it. And he dated it then at 1699 approximately. So anyway, years later, my dad's passed now, and like I said, the other man has passed, but I let another archaeologist, Mr. Dale, take a look at it. And he took pictures of it and actually said same thing, 1699 approximately. It is a unique axe in that the way it's made with a pin through it that's square. Mr. Dale said when he looked at it, and he looked at all the axe heads that was dug up, which they have a book, I think it's called Sloan's, across the USA, this may be the only one that's ever been dug up like that.
Wow.
It's very rare, and he did say it is a museum piece.
Now, Matt, can you tell us, because I didn't know, and you was telling me that how they made this and bent it over and forged it.
Yes,
how was that made?
that's a one piece of metal that they've actually bent over by heating and hand forging. They beat that thing together.
Right.
And if you look down the edge, I guess you can see that.
Right.
That has been forged together on the end where they sharpen it. And then this pin was put through it to hold it together, I guess, when they put their handle in it. But because that pin is square, and because of the pin, he says that is what is the unique characteristics about it. It's different from anything that we know exists.
Right. And it's square. Did you tell him the pin was
Yeah,
square?
the pin is
on the
square.
inside?
It is square.
You can see how old that is, that date back.
And it's the thing about it is being in that oak tree is what preserved it. If it wouldn't have been in the oak tree, it'd probably be gone.
That is amazing.
So when you found this, whenever you found it in 1966, you as a child, basically, what was going through your mind at that time?
Well, I was always digging. I later started digging bottles and everything, so I'm always been into this stuff and old stuff. But I was proud of it. Because I usually dug up fossils and things like that, little rocks and nothing, but that was, to me, was Actually, I wanted to play with it.
Right.
To tell you the
And
truth.
it's sharp.
Yes, it's still
Amazingly,
sharp,
it's still
and I
sharp.
wanted to play with it. My dad took it from me, and I wasn't too happy about that.
At least you got it
But
back.
I'm glad he did because it could have been gone by now.
Right, you
Well,
would've
you
lost
know,
it.
Matt, I want to bring this up. You know, this is a part of archaeological history of the Mississippi Gulf Coast and from the French era. You know, and your concern is that, you know, we're all getting older,
Yes.
and we're wanting to, you know, we don't want something like this to be passed down in our family and somebody get it and not really appreciate it
Yes.
and not know what in the world that they have.
Yeah, it really belongs in a museum.
This has been said that it does need to be belong into in a museum.
Right.
This story needs to be told about this axe head. And what can you kind of give us an idea, Matt, what it is that you see for the future of this axe head? I mean, what would you like to see done with this?
Well, I mean, I would think that it needs to be in a museum, or it needs to be in a collection of someone that has a large collection of this, you know, colonial French stuff that
Right.
would appreciate it and knows it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just don't want it to get lost in time.
Right.
You know, with handed down through the family, and then all of a sudden it disappears because somebody doesn't really think it's much.
Right.
A piece of metal.
Right. You know,
Right.
I can just think of, like with my father, I mean, just one generation, I only have one shotgun.
Right.
That, I mean, just, you know, he died, you know, 26 years ago.
Yes.
And that's all I have that belongs to him.
Right.
You know, I mean, just a shotgun, you know, and we've had all kinds of stuff, you know.
Right.
And my son is not, he is, I have one son, but he's not really into, you know, any of the old things, and you know, most of them's into more modern stuff.
Right,
So,
right.
But it's not really him I'm concerned with. It's like maybe when he's handed down to a grandchild that it disappears. And so
Right.
it'd be a shame to
Absolutely.
be thrown away or
Right.
something.
Anything could happen. You just
Yes,
won't.
anything.
Right. You know, this is such a unique item, and I don't know. I would have no idea what something like this would be worth. I know that this is just, it would almost be like a priceless
Right.
artifact.
Yes.
I mean, you really couldn't put a price tag on this. And this show here today is,
Well,
you know, we talk about
there's
antiques.
a price tag for everything, honey.
Right. We talk about you know, we talk about antiques, we talk about collectibles, we talk about artifacts, and some of the things that we talk about, I mean, they're not for sale. And you know, like we had a gentleman here the other day, and you know, he wasn't going to sell his bottle collection. You know, the bottle that we were talking about. So, and then this axe head is basically the same thing, but we're not saying that it could not be bought. We would like to, I think, Matt, what you're wanting to say is that you would like to find somebody that would be able to put this where it could be shown
Yes.
for future generations and that type.
Preserved
Preserve
Right.
forever.
Preserved forever. So it's not really the money. You just want to know that it's going to be safely kept for future
Yes.
generations.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. My guest, Matt Shoemaker here, you know, he found this in D'Iberville, and it was embedded in a tree. Very, very unique item. What else would you like to say about this axe?
Well, it's just, I guess one of the things that intrigues me is that, you know, in 1699, D'Iberville landed, and, you know, he was French, Canadian, and it just, you wonder,
It could have been his.
yeah, you wonder
You never
who it
know.
come from. I understand he sent people out into the area to look for different things, you know, trees or whatever. So, you know, and you know, you wonder, I mean, I know that thing was, you know, back then, tools were priceless, so why was it embedded in a tree and left?
Right.
You know, it's just,
It's like, why
all
would they
those
be
things.
such an important thing?
Yes, yes.
This is how they
And that
age.
thing is awfully sharp too.
Right.
It is very, very sharp.
It's
and
got
it
to
is a-
really be some good metal.
It is
that they
just
use.
amazing. It really is. I've never seen anything.
And the archaeologist, when he also looked at it, you can see there's a couple little dents in it, but he told me it's in very good condition.
And it's very well made.
Yes, very
Right.
good condition.
It is.
For that old.
That tree preserved it.
Yes.
Well, in closing, Debbie, would you like to say anything about this?
Well, I mean, I've been to museums and seen. I've never got to hold anything like this, so it's pretty amazing to me.
If you have any comments, go below and make some comments about this axe head. We'd like to hear your input about it.
Or if you can teach us something about it that
You know,
we don't know.
everything.
Right.
We don't claim to. We're just basically, this is a show and tell. You know.
Right.
And if you know something about this, or if you would like to make a comment about this, please do in the comment section below the video. And also, I'm going to leave some information on you know, how you can get in contact with Max's Junk about this if you're interested in this, and talking to you know, Matt Shoemaker about this. You know, he's willing to discuss or talk to you about it. And you know, this is like I was saying, this is part of Mississippi history.
Yes, it is.
And I'm sure there may be somebody here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast or in Mississippi somewhere that would like to maybe get this. You know, for history.
Or maybe not even in Mississippi, just people who collect that.
Right, absolutely.
There's collectors of that stuff everywhere.
But like I said, leave a comment below and contact us. Matt, is there anything else that you would like to say about this axe head?
No, I think that pretty well does it. I mean,
Thank you so
I
much.
think you said
for bringing
everything, and I appreciate y'all letting me come on the show.
Well, we appreciate it. And Matt, I know
Absolutely.
you have a lot of other collectibles too,
Yeah.
guns, oil stuff. Just,
Right.
So you will definitely be back to talk about other
Absolutely.
Okay,
And
well, I appreciate it.
Matt,
Yeah.
we do appreciate your time and coming over here to talk to us about this unique Colonial Ax Head. Wow, this is, I'm just intrigued by
Me
this.
too.
I mean,
I
this
really
this thing is really, it's very sharp,
Right, I know.
very, very sharp, and it hasn't been altered or touched.
Whoever stuck it down in that tree left it, and the tree just grew
Yep.
around it, and then
Well, that concludes this episode of Max's Junk. Now look, don't think that Max's junk is junk, okay? Because some people's junk is other people's treasures.
right.
Max here, Max there, Max everywhere,
Debbie
along
here,
with my co-host.
Debbie here, Debbie there, Debbie everywhere. Until next time.
Till next time, talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.